Hello, TOPhil listeners and supporters. My name is Alexander Agate, and I played with the TOPhil more than a decade ago in the Opus 22 concerts. I've been invited to talk a little bit about how the TOPhil experience affected me and what I've been doing since then. So if you want to skip me talking in a boring way about stuff, then hopefully there's some marking. Otherwise, I'll get into it. So 2008, I was studying with Mona DeCesar, a local teacher, and she was great for me. Showed me the love of music. I was playing repertoire that was eye-opening. It was a great experience. And through her, I met the late Mr. Francis, Edward Francis. And Mr. Francis heard me at a local Bach competition where I had been playing the Bach D minor concerto, or the first movement of it. And he suggested to my parents and Mrs. DeCesar as well that I should apply for the Opus concerts. I did. I was selected as one of the lucky winners. And then that experience turned out to be so positive that I guess I should say this. If you want to blame something for me deciding to become a pianist, then blame the TOPhil. Because it was such a great experience that I think it started this fire or hunger in me to want to be a performer and want to go into classical music. There's a little story that comes to mind now. The brain sometimes picks little things to remember vividly, and I remember that at the concert, where the performers were waiting in the wings, and where we had to walk up to the piano, it was a really long walk, and those are always awkward. Even today, I always find some of the most awkward moments walking up to stage and then bow, especially if it's a long walk. And I remember when I was walking up, I was so nervous. I mean, this was my first real performance. I had performed at winners' concerts for the Bach Festival and stuff, but you know that audience is mostly made up of parents who are subjected to 4 hours of other kids playing while they wait for their own kid. This was a real performance with people who were here to really listen to music. And as I was walking up, I think instinctively when I got close to the piano, I kind of outstretched my arm because I had seen people bow at the piano, but I outstretched my right arm. So all of a sudden I was in this strange position where I thought, wait, this is not right, because I'm in front of the piano, kind of holding it from here. So I had to do a little pirouette spin to get to the other arm and then bow. And Mr. Francis, who was always warm, generous, supportive, really an amazing human being to me, he could also be relentless with his teasing, and he did not let that pirouette go. For years, he mentioned it. But apart from that little mishap, it was a great experience, and I think, just especially playing with an orchestra, playing solo, it is nice, and I love playing solo. But there is an added energy with the orchestra when you're working with all these other people and you're all trying to create something cohesive, and sometimes you can get in a state where maybe everyone feels the same musical intentions, and that is an extremely special feeling. And I think I must have felt something like that during Opus, because I wanted to feel that again. I wanted to reach that state again, and then I decided I would try to be a concert pianist. So I was studying with Mrs. DeCesar. I then moved on to Robert Thies, an amazing pianist. He won the Prokofiev International competition. He trained me before undergrad, was whipping me around into shape. And then I studied with Dr. Dmitry Rachmaninoff at Cal State Northridge, another powerhouse pianist. I've been very lucky that all my teachers have been great. And while I was there, I entered my first large-scale competition, the National Chopin Competition in 2015. That was a total wake-up call, because I heard the level of pianists around the country, and I realized that the standard was much higher than I anticipated. I redoubled my efforts. Eventually, I applied to Manhattan School of Music for my master's degree to study with the 1981 Van Cliburn competition winner, André Michel Schub. I got a full scholarship to Manhattan, and then I had finished my master's and am continuing to work on my doctorate at MSM currently. while I've been at MSM, I've done a bunch of other competitions, and sometimes you win them, sometimes you get the semifinals, sometimes you're knocked out early. These things just seem to happen. But things like the Naumburg International Competition, the Sendai International Competition, I did do Chopin National again and got further. So there's been improvement, luckily, within the past 5 years. And I was actually supposed to compete in the Seoul International Piano Competition. It would have been held this July, but due to the outbreak, it was canceled. So I have until March before I need to worry about that. So I guess I'll play some things. But before that, one last thank you to, first of all, anyone who's listened to me ramble thus far, but to the TOPhil. That experience was really, quite literally life-changing, because that is a big driving factor, or was a big driving factor in why I love music and why I'm pursuing music. So I guess I'll play now, and thank you.